Shalom, Yasharala. This your brother Dawud Daw from GMS Tampa Bay 07, coming at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Waha Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. All right, I'm going to get into this here quick lesson dealing with basically the time that we're about to come into. All right, it's about to be a bad time and a bad scenery going on here in America. All right, it's going to be basically for a visual, go through these here scriptures and just watch the book of Eli. Basically that's going to be the scenery. It's going to be pretty much like that, but it's going to be way worse than that. All right, so we're going to jump right into the scriptures. This is Amos chapter 9 verse 8. Behold, the eyes of Yahweh power are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saying Yahweh. All right, so let me tackle the end part, saying I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob. All right, now, well, it explains itself. I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob. That means not the whole thing, but we do know that 2/3 is going to get cut off. All right, but the third part is going to be brought through the fire. All right, and that's going to be the 1/3, and then also the elect. All right, 144,000. But at the top it says, "Behold, the eyes of Yahweh power are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it off the face of the earth." All right, the Most High is looking at this evil ass kingdom here, known as Babylon the Great. Okay, and he see all the wickedness is going on here, and he about to he already turning up, but he about to let everything loose, right? All right. Next scripture I wanted to grab. Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 5. It says, "For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see." So let me go back up to the top. It says, "For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling and of fear, and not of peace." All right, you got some feeble people, like people in panic. They in panic mode. All right. Ask now. Now this is the Most High. This is the Most High being funny right here. This is a joke. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not really a joke because it's actually going to be happening. But the way he worded it, is pretty much he's showing his style. You got to love the Most High. It says, "Ask now and see whether a man doth travail with child." And that's why I say it's a joke, because the Most High ain't going off. The Most High know what he created. He created man and female. He told them to be fruitful and multiply. And he know which one of them goes into labor and give birth. It's the female. But he's saying this is a joke. He how a woman is in labor pains and she's screaming on that hospital bed. It's basically like it's men basically screaming like that. You hear men screaming and stuff like that. You would think a woman is giving birth, but it's really these men. All right, they done turned into some straight bitch ass niggas, some straight coward ass. They talked all that shit and was so proud. What I'm saying about ain't no God and all this and that. We're gonna live on forever. We the greatest military, all this and that. Our guns and blah 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 blah. But then they're gonna be screaming like little bitches in that day. All right, or worse than that. They ain't gonna be screaming like little bitches. They're gonna be screaming like a woman in serious pain giving birth. All right. It says, "Ask now and see whether a man doth travail with child." Okay. "Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail?" Okay, like a woman giving birth, basically. Like back in the older days, I believe they would stand up or basically lean up against a tree or whatever and give birth that way. All right, but their hands are pretty much in a squatting position. Their hands on their knees, and basically he's saying he's seeing these men or hearing these men crying like women in labor pains. Then he also seeing them basically in that same position, or like how we know at today's times, you see somebody running a race and they done running or whatever, they stop running and they tired and they kind of stoop over and put their hands on their knees and be breathing like that. You're gonna be seeing men like that. They're gonna be screaming, running and shit like that, bombs and people just getting ran through by the Israelites. All right, because Jeremiah 51:20 got to take place. So then they're gonna be seeing these UFOs, what they call UFOs. They're gonna be bugging the fuck out. They're gonna be and these missiles and the invasion. You're gonna be seeing all these things happening all at once. All these things gonna be happening. So you're gonna see these men, and they're gonna be basically screaming like women that's giving birth. They're gonna be screaming in that kind of pitch, that kind of tone, and with that kind of, not to say fear, but let's say compassion. They giving it. They all, when a woman is giving birth, she giving her all to push that baby out, and then with the scream and the pain, of all that, she's screaming with her all with all that, Same with these men. They're going to be that faint, they're going to be a little faint. They're going to be super faint. They're going to be to the fullest, like Most High, they're going to be slayed to the fullest, basically, It says, ask now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces turn into paleness. All right? Wow. The Most High dropped another one on your ass. Their faces turn to paleness. Now, if the Israelites or if the Edomites are fucking Arabs or so-called black people, you know what I'm saying, anything other than who they really are, okay? If that's the so-called Edomites, all right? So why are we talking about here, basically, is the Edomites here, all right, turning pale. You ain't going to see so-called black people turning pale like that. The only people that turn pale is a so-called white man, all right? He's the only person that can turn pale because he, like his name say, look, he wasted away as he lacked melanin, all right? Edom, that's what Edom means. It says, ask now, see whether doth a man travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces turn to paleness. Yeah, they real faint, they scared. They like a white person has seen a damn ghost. Their heart just stopped. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. Okay? So basically this day is great and so that there's none like it. So there's no day beforehand in the history of all of this planet that was ever going to be like this day. This is going to be the worst day ever, or the worst time ever, and we going into these times, and if you believe these scriptures and you believe, we building up to this time, we in the end time. So every day is basically waxing worse and worse than the day before, we getting into a worse day than the day before, worse day than the day before that, we getting into worse and worse times, so it finally culminates to the very end. All right. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right, that's basically, hey, that's the salvation of Israel. All right, that's what you being saved from. You being saved when you go into that Mark. Mark those aside and cry for the abominations that be done thereof. That means exempt from judgment. All right, that means you being exempt from the damn coming calamities, the nuclear missiles. They got all these calamities is coming. All these things is going to happen. You're going to be saved from all that. When there's famine and all that stuff, you're going to be eaten, all right? When people is getting murked out in the streets, you're going to be all right? Yeah, that's all I wanted to get there. This is verse 7 one more time. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even in time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right? Jumping over to the book of Daniel. This is Daniel chapter 12 and 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble. All right, now you hadn't seen this happen yet. So when the archangel Michael, come down to fight, this, we're gonna be obviously at the very end. But the point I wanted to grab here is right here. It says, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never since there was a nation, even until that same time. Okay? And that's paired with what we just read over in Jeremiah. It's going to be a time like never before, basically. A time like it's never been since there was a nation. All right? It says there shall be a time of trouble, like we just read Jacob's trouble, such as never since there was a nation, even into the same time. And at that time, thy people, the Israelites, shall be delivered, everyone that should be found written in the book. That's the ones that's written in the book. You can go over to Revelation chapter 7, all right, and you can read it, all the names of the ones that's written in the book, all right? 12,000 from the tribe of Judah, 12,000 from the tribe of Issachar, Ephraim, Manasseh. It's going to be 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes, all right? And those are the ones that's written in the name, those are the ones whose names is written in the book, all right? And you can open the book and read it, all right? If you have the spiritual understanding to be able to read it. And it's not hard, I say that jokingly because that's been in there the whole time, but yet you go to these Christian churches and they'll tell you that anybody can be saved, but when they clearly tell you in Revelation 7, who's going to get that? Pair that with Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4, all right? But nevertheless, it says, I just wanted to grab this here up here. It says, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never since there was a nation, even to that same time, all right? We'll jump to my next scripture. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 14. Actually, I think that was, I wanted to get 14, but let me see. Hang on one second. This is a good one to read here too. But for time's sake, I wanted to nevertheless, I'll just get to the point, for time's sake. I was gonna grab something else, but going back to Zechariah chapter 14 at the top, it says, "Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh," okay, the day of the Lord. "Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee." All right, and it's talking about these Edomites. When in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. All right, according to the book of Job. Though he swallowed it down, he gonna vomit it all back up. All right, it says, "Behold, the day of the Lord cometh," which is judgment day. "Thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half the city shall go into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle." Okay? "And his feet shall stand in the day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof towards the east and towards the west, and there shall be a great valley. And half of the mountain shall be removed towards the south, and half towards the north, and half of it towards the south." Where was the okay, here it is. Now pairing that with this here as well. Well, hold on. Let me backtrack before I jump down. All right. So basically, it's talking about the vengeance of the Lord. The day of the Lord is coming. All these people who came up rounded about on the nation of Israel, they got to pay for putting their hands on Israel. All right. All these people about to get ran through. You're gonna wind up, especially Esau. He's gonna wind up getting everything put back on his head double. You're gonna render recompense to him double. All right. And so, as you see the things that Esau had did to us, the things that he's been doing to us, not only us, these other nations, like going over in goddamn Iraq and stuff like that, kicking in doors, raping women and shit like that, and killing folks over there. All that shit's coming right back on Esau. All right. So this is, again, the visual is in the Book of Eli. When you watch that movie, the Book of Eli. All right. And so you see all these things start to happen. All these things is being turned back onto. Okay, it's going to be turned back upon the Edomites' head and also these other nations, all right? Now we're going to jump down to verse 12. "And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people who fought against Jerusalem." All right, so it's going to be the payback for everybody that fought back against them, all right? And this is talking about these nuclear missiles. They're going to get hit with these nukes, all right? And if you want to understand this, this is the visual from the movie Terminator, where you see, if you go on YouTube and look this up, it's called Sarah's Dream, all right? And you'll see Sarah O'Connor on the fence, and you see that nuclear bomb go off, and then she get wasted away, all right? This is where they get that depiction in that movie from, all right? It says, "And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth." So basically, they're going to just be obliterated, Now, you can really get deep into the scientific, you know what I'm saying? Because these are the effects of what happens when a nuclear missile hits your ass, all right? Really, you don't even get hit with the nuclear missile. You get taken out by that damn immense heat and pressure that hits your ass first and foremost, and it just, with all that pressure, you just get basically vaporized, you know what I'm saying? And with the heat and the pressure vaporizes your ass, if you could even withstand that, you know, the first wave of it. But, and it's so gangster. Look how it says, and their flesh shall consume. Now all this is going to happen. It says, and their flesh shall consume, all right, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Now going back up, it says, and their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. All right, so all these things, the flesh on their bodies, their eyes gonna melt in their eye in the holes, and the tongues as well. All this is gonna happen while you're still standing on your feet. In an instant, it's gonna happen. All right, you standing there like a homegirl on that fence, right? And before the damn fire even touches, she never even got hit by the fire from the explosion from the bomb. She just got hit by that outer band ring, that first ring, you know. Some people get blinded by the light, you know, and that's enough for it to just kill you, you know what I'm saying? Just a flash of it if you're close enough, all right? But then you get hit with I believe it's a wall of heat first, and then you get hit with a wall of immense pressure, and then another wall of heat, which it just bursts into flames after that. All right, and then after that, you get the wave of fire. All right, and then you can go look up, you know, nuclear bomb explosions and things like that, you know, and study how those different bands hit different things. You know, they got one image of all that where it basically disintegrates all, like a house, a bus, all trees, and all these things. You know, imagine that hitting a person before it even get knocked over. Like certain houses just explode before you never even see the fire hit none of that. They just start combusting before any of that hits that. All right. This is what's going to happen with all these people, you know, and again, it's going to make this land desolate, you know. And it shall come to pass, verse 13, and it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from Yahweh shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. Okay, so this is these race wars popping off. Then it's also talking about when martial law, well, is a cause and effect. You're going to have basically lawlessness going off because you're going to have an economic collapse and all these things, or EMP go off. You know, the scriptures do say get into darkness, you know. One of the things that EMP does is knock out all the electrical circuit boards of everything, right? And that would be a great preemptive strike, you know, before letting the nukes off, you know. If like, let's say Russia with their Satan missile, you know, with multiple warheads in there, they could put, you know, they don't have to change nothing now. They just release one nuclear bomb, one nuclear warhead before all the other ones, and detonate it above the atmosphere over America and knocks out all the electrical circuit boards, all right? So now the remaining missiles that's coming in won't be being seen on radar. Your defense systems won't be able to react against it. You know, your telecommunications won't be able to work. You can't sound no alarms. You know, you can't even transport, move, or seek shelter because your cars, you know, all your electrical systems and all these things are going to be shut down, all right? And so, you know, that would be a perfect preemptive strike, you know, to get all these things off so you don't have to worry about so-called THAAD systems and these types of barriers or walls like they had in the olden days, all right? But nevertheless, going back over to 13 again, it shall come to pass in that day a great tumult from Yahweh shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and the hand on his neighbor, and the hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. Okay, so you got again the race wars and the martial law kicking off because of the collapse of the system and all these things going on. All right, and Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. And I want to go. No, actually, that was just a point there. 13 again, or 14. And Judah shall also fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold, silver, and apparel in a great abundance. All right, and again, like this is the time where basically Jake gonna be turned up and be running through all these people's houses. So, like I said in the book of Eli, you're gonna be basically like nomads, you know, in a system that's already collapsed and crumbled. You know, people running from house to house, searching houses, wives ravished, houses rifled, those type of things going on. All right, it's gonna be a day of darkness and gloominess. Okay, it's gonna be a time like it's never been a time beforehand. All right, let's grab one more scripture. We're gonna close out. I'm gonna grab Revelation. It's Revelation chapter 9, verse 6. It says, "In those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them." All right? So you're coming up upon a time where you know, basically, you know, people going to be like, do I see a man in travail, like, if he got a child? You know, while all these men faint and their faces turn pale, you know? Like, basically, it's going to be a time of trouble, you know, like in the book of Eli, you know? You've seen all those things happening in the book of Eli. Everybody was kind of scared and iffy of one another, you know, people running around. These are the times that's coming to America, all right? All your comfort and all these things is about to go away, man. We're about to get into these times, so it's time to be serious, you know, and prepare your mind for all these things, because wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability at that time. You don't want to be caught off guard and shaken. You don't want to be caught as a thief in the night, you know, unexpected, all right? With that, I'm going to go ahead and close out. Say, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught me his truth and that ruled well. And citation and much love for you, I can push his truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth. Stay strong. Shalom.